Well, thank you. Glad to be here. I feel very strongly about this topic. The drive here took me about 3 hours with all the construction, so that's how strongly I feel about it. I represent Eaton County. It's the 71st District, just west of Lansing. And I've dealt with these issues for many, many years because prior to going to the State House, I was in police work for 33 years. So I worked on the street as a deputy, a sergeant, lieutenant before I was elected sheriff of Eaton County. I understand what happens to children that have dysfunctional families and don't have a mother and a father. God meant children to have a mother and a father. It's as simple as that. And I believe in that very strongly. And I believe in this legislation. That's why I'm a sponsor of this legislation. How tough is it to move this stuff in Lansing? It's very tough. To get a bill passed, you have to get it through a committee in the House, get the House to vote for it, then you have to get it through a committee in the Senate, get the Senate to vote for it, and then you have to have the governor sign it to become law in the state of Michigan. It's not easy, but it can be done. Last term, I had a young man come to me, and he said, Rick, I had shared custody with my ex for 5 years. No problems, absolutely no problems. And I'm in the National Guard. I was called up to duty, sent to Iraq. While I was in Iraq, I did everything a father could do. I sent postcards, I sent letters, I made phone calls when my ex would allow it, I paid child support, did everything I could. But when I came back, the friend of the court in Ingham County said, you abandoned your child. Well, that made me pretty angry. At first, I couldn't hardly believe it. So I called the friend of the court system in Ingham County, and I said, you know, this can't be true. They said, well, yes, sir, it is. We count points against a parent for being missing. I said, but this parent was serving our country. He had no choice. And their answer was, well, you know, we don't like the military, and he didn't have to join the National Guard. That was their answer. Well, I became very, very angry about this, and I wrote legislation last term that said, simply, if you're called up to serve your country, that cannot be used against you in custody battles. And it wasn't just for men. I had a female doctor from Ann Arbor come in and testify because they were going to take her 3-year-old away. So this was equal. It was for men and women. And you would not believe the people that came out against it. A friend of the court people, I had judges that were against it, and lobbyists. It was lobbyists running all over Lansing, and they fought, but we got it passed. So it can be done, and so I guess what I'm here tonight is to deliver the message, is hang in there and keep fighting. Representatives have to be elected every 2 years. Okay, so we've got a lot of representatives down there in Lansing now that are real nervous about their re-election because they just voted for big tax increases. So you have some power. Your power is by contacting these representatives and letting them know if they don't support this bill, they're not going to get re-elected. Now, I'm happy that they moved it out of Representative Clack's committee because I know she was against it. They moved it to Paul Condino's committee, Judiciary. I serve on Judiciary. You've got one vote right now on that committee, and you got one vote in the House. But we need a lot of letters going into Paul Condino. He is a trial attorney. I don't know that that's good for the cause, but we need to put pressure on the chair to take the bill up, and then make sure that everybody in the committee hears how many thousands of people out there want this to pass. So I am confident that someday this is going to pass, and it's going to be the law of Michigan. So if you ever have any questions, my name is Rick Jones, serve at the Capitol, and feel free to email me or call or write a letter anytime. Thank you.